it's a, when you look at national versus regional, and further breaking down regional into hyperlocal, we are looking at granular level segmentation exercises. And in this vast country, which is diversified from the perspective of culture, language, and demographics, we are seeing at the same time cohesiveness brought about by appealing content, either in terms of advertising or in terms of storytelling and content, or in terms of a massive changes in media that is being brought about by the fragmentation from digital coming into play. So there is a fragmentation, a diversified community sitting there in different cohorts. At the same time, there's a cohesiveness that is being brought about by the storytelling exercises. So here we are going to explore in this panel how is the media platforms, where here we have two of them, Dilip and Sagar, coming from that particular arena. We have the brand builders, Riya and Abhishek with us. At the same time, the media strategy team from Vanitha and Ashish very much over here for giving us the insights into how this entire brand and media are coming together to fortify and communicate to audiences. Let me start with Dilip and Sagar from the content perspective. Dilip, in this kind of an environment where you have diversified audiences at a national level and even at a local regional level, you're seeing different age groups, different languages coming in. How do you build content stories that actually vibrate with audiences significantly?
Thank you. I'd like to thank IndianTelevision.com team and all the distinguished panel members here. I'm the latest entrant in the news media, television. We launched this channel in 2024. That's also last of August, 23rd August. When we were launching this channel, there was a question which everybody asked. We already have 400 plus news channels, regional, in different languages, national, Hindi, English. Why are you launching another channel? That question was very important to us also. Why am I launching this? So this will answer your question also, so that's all. The channel, there are not only channels, there are platforms, you have YouTube, you have tech platforms, so there is no dearth of content. There are billions of uploads every day. So what will this channel do? So the big differentiator was the content that we are going to deliver to the audience, especially those, because it's a television channel, so we first thought of television. And the content, which is every day, otherwise the news. So there are 400 plus channels delivering you news in different languages, Hindi, English, Telugu, and all the Indian language. So yet another Hindi channel, what value are we going to add to the viewers? So there was this biggest trouble that I personally faced being into news media for over 35 years. When I started in my days in TU and JNU both, we used to do a lot of research and then write and tell people. So I come from that background and respected news media from bottom of my heart. And joined this, as you know, something we thought it's good to deliver truth and important news and information to people. But at the end of when we are 2-3 years, especially in the last 5 years, if you see the fake news, it has not only grown up, it has become fake, false, and propaganda has become order of the day. So we have 400 plus channels, we have so much to offer to people. Why are people complaining about the TV? That all of you are propagandists, all of you are providing fake news, you are not giving us truth. So we came with a value proposition that will provide you complete truth, whatever it is, whatever we deliver, we give you. So I think the answer lies in what you deliver to your audience. For us to coming up, to believe in TV, to come up with a TV channel, this is the one thing that we decided that come what may, we are going to deliver truth only to our audience.
So basically, true stories is what you offer, and that's what connect audiences with.
That's one thing, one of the things that is.
Sagar, so when you talk about this storytelling exercise and connect from where Dilip left it and saying that true stories actually connect with audiences, is there instances that you have come across where the content of true storytelling touches the heart and then it becomes viral and it's a mass following that you are trying to get?
Good afternoon, everyone. So, answering to that question, as storytellers, we try to keep the right storylines, emotions, that's the basic. But whenever we go to regional spaces, it is extremely important for us to become authentic in terms of our tradition, culture, values. So, for example, if I talk about a national show made in Bihar, Maharashtra person would feel that maybe the culture is like that. They would not know in detail. But in a region when a show is being made, they would know exactly the truth of it. Hence, it is extremely important that we maintain that value. Then only the loyalty can be built up. And we have seen multiple cases where we have experienced the moment we show authentic cases or the pain point of a particular region, it helps a lot. Just to give an example, not from us, a show called as Kartik Purnima coming from the southern market, it talked about dark complexion. It came at such a point in time that if I have to talk about data, then around 10 to 12% people of that market were tuning into that half an hour, regular basis. And that helped a lot in terms of the market may, the girls which have that kind of dark complexion have actually built their confidence, seeing a heroic character of their color becoming a household name. That definitely helps to build or I would say break a certain societal norms.
When this kind of work is being done from true storytelling perspective, yeah, how does advertisers look at these propositions and say, hey, am I ready to back this for my brand building exercises? Or no, it's just numbers that matters to me, and therefore whatever gives me audience, whether it's true or false, whether it's true touching storytelling or it's just a cold content that's going on. How do you decide what should I back and what I shouldn't back?
Thanks, Ajay. Good question. So I actually start with maybe how do we approach a brand story, right? So we have, okay, and now I will move away from biscuits for a bit because I'm going to talk a lot about biscuits in Britannia. So, we'll take the non-glamorous category like paints, right? So paints, not really very exciting, interesting, etc. But if you've seen any of those paints like paint ads like Nerolac, Asian paints, or Shellac or any of them, they actually have been regionalizing content from a very, very long ago, right? So I come from Kerala. All the paint ads will have some really fun jingle. There will be a lot of people coming together and painting. And the reason why people use paint over there is to make sure that there is no moss, there is no fungus, etc. Right? Because it's a very drainy place. However, if you look at Rajasthan, it's got a lot. It's very hot, right? So there it is about reflective paints. If you take West Bengal, we are talking about maybe some decorative paints, etc. Right? So as brands, when we approach each of these regions, if we had just one ad which was going through for all the regions, it may not have struck a chord with your teaching as if you had gone to these regional nuances and made those ads. So that's what I think as brands and advertisers we should be moving towards.
Interesting. So when you contextualize this from another category like insurance, which is more dramatic, and closer to the heart and mind of a consumer than probably a paint or a summer campaigns. How do you then relate that to to the context of stories that comes out at a regional level, and second, whether those stories are actually truly telling what audiences are looking for, or it's just one of the other stories that's happened in media?
So I'll start with a little disagreement. Disagreement in terms of when you said that insurance, something very close to our heart and probably a much more high involvement category. It is not. The reason I'm saying it is not is, although the purchase price is extremely high, an average ticket size in a life insurance is approximately 1.2 lakhs, and that you pay for at least 10 to 12 years. So it's actually a kind of very expensive product to buy. And against that, you only get a piece of paper. That piece of paper is a promise. That promise by the life insurer that in case something happens to the person who has taken the life insurance, the insurer will take care. Okay, that's the basic premise of life insurance. Unfortunately, most of the people who buy insurance do not understand what they are buying. Okay, so from the value of the purchase, it's a high involvement, but from the understanding of the purchase, it's fairly low involvement. In fact, our continuous service, you go back to customers after 1 year of buying their policy, they do not remember what they bought. They only remember what they are paying. They don't remember what they bought, they don't remember the benefits, nothing. So from that perspective, it becomes a low involvement category. Now, coming to the question of storytelling, because at the time of purchase, it's a high involvement purchase, I need to create emotions around my storytelling. And the good part about this is, about our country actually, is that you don't need to go looking around for stories. Okay, let me give you just an example. Go to any part of the country, there will be a festival and there will be a story behind that festival. And not just one story, there will be multiple stories behind each festival. All you need to do is to get inspiration from those stories and create your storytelling in a way. And because it is linked to the festival, and because there is a great story behind it, it becomes absolutely emotional and it resonates with the geography that you are going after. You talked about Kerala, you are from Kerala. For us, Kerala is a very big market for us. It is primarily because one of our bank partners is over there, originates in Kerala. So it's a very big market for us. What we have observed is, if we have just taken Onam and we have created stories around Onam, around the ethos of Onam, what does Onam stand for, and then create beautiful stories around it, it has always resonated not just with the customers, but sometimes more important for our business, our distributors, our advisors. Again, Kerala again has something called as a Kuchipudi dance. There is a great story behind that dance. So what you do is, there is a brand. I am not going to talk about what my brand stands for because it's not a brand, but there is a brand. There is a brand story behind. There is a brand. There is a purpose for which your brand exists. It's very easy to marry the purpose of your brand to the essence of the story behind most of these festivals, and you can create beautiful stories. And that is not just Kerala, across the countries. We have created stories for West Bengal, we have created stories for Gujarat. And it is not just one religion actually. You can create stories for multiple religions because all religions have fantastic story behind their festivals. So whenever we have taken storytelling, gone to the regional, spoken in their language, in about something that they deeply resonate with, we have actually find that we have winners on our hand.
Amazing. Ashish, you have dealt with all kind of advertisers in a network that is spanning across multiple languages, multiple local markets. Now, how do you therefore look at this problem and offer a solution? For example, Sheikh mentioned about the fact that there's a very low involvement category, insurance category, etc. But now, if he approaches you from a regional market perspective and say, hey, here's my problem, how do you go about resolving or giving solutions to him where you can contextualize your storytelling of content with his storytelling of advertising?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. And all the panelists already touched upon beautifully how regionalization is what the topic is all about, and storytelling behind the regionalization. Firstly, I want to change the name of regionalization to diverse Indian languages. There is nothing but regionalization. It is about, if there is a differentiation of any strata, it is urban and rural. Correct? Now, India is a diverse country. It's a unique country in the entire world which has many cultures. Hence, it is not dictated by any one culture in the overall perspective. Hence, the challenges for any brands to or any marketer is much larger than anywhere else in the world. So from that perspective, if you see Z started investigating, we understood this culture way long back. Subhashji started launching channels in regional markets. If you see any other medias, companies which has come or have been there in the country, they have either acquired or taken over those smaller state media companies and they became a large one. Z is the only company which has created either content or channels on their own. So we believe in creating first the IPs, our own content. And where does it come from? It comes from a deep understanding of our consumer in every part of the country, in every strata of our society. For that you have to go and do a lot of research with consumer, understand their psyche, visit in their homes, understand their everyday life. And from there comes actually first the building of storytelling. Within that storytelling then is the answer. Once the consumers start resonating with our stories, and that's how you see we have a large network today. We are very strong in various Indian languages. From a storytelling point of view, across platform we are doing it. Now when we understand our consumer, marketers are always chasing consumer, correct? The earlier panel was discussing that my brief starts from where I have to, how to reach my consumer. Now, we are already reaching the consumer, we are a vehicle for them to take their message to them. Because we understand the nuances of each and every culture, their strata of the society, what's happening in their home, we try to beautifully weave their messages along with our content storytelling. We also customize sometimes many storytelling. Today it's a world of influencer media. No better than the TV characters who are the biggest influencers in the country. Even till date I can challenge anybody. Okay, today the trust and the empathy which is with a TV character, is with no influencer, whether he is a YouTuber or even a celebrity of film industry. Why? Because you are emulating them on a daily basis, sitting in their home. A female is looking at what sari she is wearing, what jewelry what food products they got, how they are treating their children, how they are fighting amongst each other, even the relationship at household sometimes, is influenced by what you are watching on TV, ultimately. So it comes, hence your consumption habits also start to subconsciously get affected by what you are watching on a daily basis. And that's where the storytelling makes a huge impact on every consumer. And if you weave the brand message within that storytelling, the message stays for very long and it helps build trust of the brand amongst that consumer. So when the dopamine culture comes of watching something on a vertical screen, you will always click on something which you trust. So brand has been built over from television and then engagement can happen on different screens. I think that is how we build our business.
Is there any examples that you have that can quote, talking about how a regional brand succeeded by doing this kind of an exercise and therefore moved on to a larger scale, operate in multiple markets or even to a national level later?
So, we have done almost 50-60 campaigns by this kind of storytelling, but my latest one which I can share with you is Nivea Purna. We did a Nivea Purna with Durga Puja last year. The Nivea share in West Bengal moved by 4% at that data is shared by the client, not me. Okay, and then they replicated the same thing in Karnataka market, where so the whole messaging was right from taking Nivea's brand message in the content, integrated that in the content, how the usage of the brand has to be, from taking our influencers or character, creating a film about the same thing, taking them on ground during Durga Puja, doing activation with the consumer, after that creating a half an hour episode about how your skin, and it was more about the content, and brand was certainly put into it. And it was a 3-month exercise. So the brand message was written so beautifully for that brand. Lately, I'm sure you must have heard about Taj doing a Hyderabad mein that large kettle thing. The whole campaign was promoted by our characters, and it was established. So it is because we are so well entrenched in the culture of every state, we are able to resonate with our consumer and take the message very beautifully to them.
When you hear this out and say the trust and empathy that is brought out by protagonists who are involved in the storyline, does those metrics ever come into play when we do your media strategy for brands, whether it's Britannia or Edelweiss Insurance, etc.?
Certainly it does. Thanks, Ellie, and thanks everyone for being here. So I think on a Z example itself, I remember in the initial days, there was one L'Oreal example that you all had, I still remember. Aishwarya, like when he said Bollywood, it just struck me. Aishwarya was the main campaign nationally, but they brought in a Z Marathi protagonist, and it was a case study circulated to all agencies, and it was a known case that I can think of straight away, though we didn't work on it. But it doesn't matter. The point that you asked was, yes, certainly. So the way the process works is, I think, the way I look at it is, it starts with, I call it LLAM model. So first L is listening, which you could call researching, like he said. So listen to what is the local culture, what is the local feel, flavor of a product. When I say that, it could have impact on the product itself. So we work on McDonald's. So the choices of, burger, vegetarian versus chicken vary so much that, the West and the Gujarat population is more vegetarian. But in West also there is non-veg, veg both. But South is chicken. So for one was just to use the product separately, but they went to the next layer by taking Junior NTR and other local celebrities in the South, which really helped them. So that is where the product and the communication both come in hand with the listening. So listening, then local, amplification and measurement. So that's the process. So how do you amplify that? And that's where it's like an integrated game today. It's not just that you do it here on television, you can do it with digital, you can take a multimedia radio, print, etc. and then measure the ROI. So it's an ROI accelerator as I see this whole path of localization or whatever you want to call it, though he said shouldn't be called regionalization, whatever you want to name it, and it's much more than language. Like what he was saying is language, it's much more than language, it's the culture, it's the taste, it's everything to do with your category.
So this interesting word that you used was amplification of communication, I think. And news does that beautifully in terms of amplification. Now, when you look at news from a national-centric news versus a regional-centric news, and then you want to say the fact that, hey, here is this advertiser or sponsor who is riding on your effect in media. How do you balance out, say, the prime time news by saying, okay, this time I want it to be national news actually, although the sponsor may be just a regional guy who will be mounting the value to it. So how do you judge what kind of piece should I scale up, what kind of news piece should I bring it down, and how do I amplify this entire thing that benefits advertisers ROI?
No, I'll give you a latest example. Though we have mechanism that, what is the timing when people in Uttar Pradesh or people in southern states, when is the time when people, generally for the metro we keep a different time, and for Mumbai like metro is a different time. So we generally we decide on various factors. But a recent example, on 6th May, midnight, India took action inside Pakistan. And that was around 1:30 or 35 in it. The entire nation, doesn't matter which language, which region, which culture, not only India, from beyond India, got flooded with calls, got flooded with messages, and everyone came to see what television. Nobody went to mobile. People who were moving, they were looking at mobiles and other options, but largely people came to television, the big screen. And everyone was looking to what is the latest, what are we giving. That point of time, and when the news like this happens, you cannot prioritize. It's a news headlines that you have to make priority. It's the facts. And very interesting thing happened. I was traveling there. On 8th night, I was traveling from Ranchi to Delhi. So when I was running towards the airport to check in, there was a large number of people standing in front of one television at the Ranchi airport and trying to see. I was in rush, so I went, boarded a flight, switched off my phone, came to Delhi. When I opened my phone in Delhi, there were 144 missed calls. And this call was from my newsroom, from my users, viewers, and everybody else started asking me. The first call I called was my newsroom. So my newsroom told the person who was managing the editor, he told me, I may be lynched here. So I was a little under shock, what is happening? He said, there are new channels which are showing that we have captured Karachi, Lahore and Islamabad. What shall we do? We don't have such information. I said, whatever correct information you have, please run. Let's not go to Lahore, Karachi and Islamabad. Let's just stay in India and just report what is the facts. Next morning, we know, all of us know what is the fact. So, in a news environment, you have to take different calls at different point of time. Typically, a small flood in, a small rains in Mumbai becomes a big headline. Not only for the regional and for the national, it's even for the hyper-local. So, it depends on the turn of events, it depends how the people are stuck. So, largely, what he was talking, ROI. This is what is for ROI for us. Our viewers must get the right information. That's the best thing. We work for our viewers to provide you the correct news and information. That's the ROI for my viewers. For advertisers, if they reach their targeted viewers, and for investors who invested with us, they must get a good return. So primarily we work for 50 people. Our viewers is the primary most important, and there we take the news as it happens, and for us it doesn't matter actually whether it's a regional story or a national story. The story becomes even a hyper-local story, becomes an international story today, a global story. That's what the time we are living in. So typically we have some standard, but generally in the news, if you're round the clock 24/7, so a Tamil Nadu story from a Tamil Nadu village becomes makes a big headline. So that's how I see it.
So now here's this case where you're picking up three boxes. One, it's aggregation of audiences. Second, it's real time happening in news happening. And third is there's a zero clutter of advertising happening because it's happening on the go kind of stuff happening. How does advertisers like you and Abhishek look at this as an opportunity and see whether they can maximize ROI, whether it's low at a regional level or at a national level?
So, in fact, we as a company stay away from anything which is political in nature. Unfortunately, this incident that you reported right now was little political. So, in fact, whatever we had on digital also, we had actually taken a step back to be not really involved. But in any other case where it's not, like for example, if there is also some natural calamities, we don't make fun of it, right? Because you're not in the right space, and especially you're like a mass brand which is actually being used by everybody. However, if there is a case, like for example, maybe during the COVID time, when there is a lot of news, everybody is consuming news, at that point in time, we will definitely go and invest in it, right? Because that's the time when there is a lot of viewers. And as you rightly said, viewers is what we need on every channel. Post that the advertisers come, and post that the backers, if any, comes in, right? So if the viewers come to the channel benefits, the advertisers benefits, and hence the brands also benefit. So depending on the event, we will definitely try and take part as and when it's required.
But this is a relevant category for insurance. War, destruction, rebirth, everything is happening long actually. So how do you see this as an opportunity or not an opportunity?
Actually, for us, a little different point of view, everything starts and ends with customer. Where are the customers? And within the customer segment also, as I mentioned earlier, we have two very distinct consumer segments. One is the people who are buying our insurance, and the second is the people who are selling our insurance. Both of these segments are extremely important to us. So let's look at the first case, the people who are buying insurance. Sadly, but predominantly, insurance is bought by males. Almost 80% of all policies are bought by males and 20% are bought by females. This participation of females in directly buying insurance is on increase, but as stands today, 80-20 is the ratio. But within the 80% which are bought by males, females still play a huge role as an influencer. But still, when I have to advertise or I have to talk, I have to look at some bit of segmentation. Therefore, first is men, that we go after men. If you have to go after men, and if I have to go on TV, there are only two genres which are available, either sports or news. Okay, if I have to go back for my back. Within that also, if you see sports, India there is nothing called as sports, there is only sport. There is only one sport, which is cricket. And for a mid-sized brand like us, advertising on cricket does not make sense because we do not have that kind of budget. If you want to make a meaningful impact on cricket, you need big amounts of money to spend on it. So that leaves choice to us for news. So news becomes a default choice for us to go when we have to talk to our customers because we started from the customer. So that is the first basic criteria, that is one. The second is, if I have to talk to my advisors, I go very regional in that because my advisors, actually most of them speak only the regional language. They don't speak any other language. So for them, I will go into very focused regional TV. Okay, let me give you an example. In our industry, there is the highest set of advisors is what is MDRT, $1 million roundtable. It's a global body. 0.1% of the entire life insurance industry advisors qualified to become an MDRT advisor. And it is linked to the business that you do in that particular year. For every company, these MDRT advisors are extremely important and we guard them very carefully because we don't want them to be poached by competition. What do we offer? Everybody offers the same. We also offer the same commissions, we also offer the same incentives, we also offer the same trips and everything. So in terms of what they get is no different from what anybody will get anywhere else. So how do I make them feel special? For their TV comes a big help to us. What we did was, we tied up with a news channel for 365 days and said every day at 9 p.m. only for 60 seconds, I will bring out my MDRT advisor on TV and say, this is my best advisor. That's it. What it did for us, number one, so that advisor will know that today my clip is going to be aired on TV. That advisor will call his entire neighborhood to his home. And when the TV comes, they will clap and this and that, and they will send WhatsApp videos and everywhere. What it created for us is that so much affinity for our company that these advertisers say that मुझे पैसा हर जगह मिल जाता है, मुझे इज्जत यहाँ मिलती है. And that is a business person. That is the kind of, if you have defined your customer and your purpose, what you are going to do, then depending on that, sometimes TV will play a beautiful role in meeting that purpose.
Amazing example. Ashish, I mean, if the proposition comes to you on this kind of an exercise actually that you're trying to create for his customer base, trust, loyalty, etc. And given the media span that we have between digital and media television, how do you bifurcate solutions for marketers in this kind of an environment where fragmentation is very, very challenging in nature?
Thanks for giving me a platform to do my sales pitches. Well, you know what both of them were saying, ultimately, when you have to communicate to your consumer about the product, first you have to build a relationship. He very beautifully explained how he build a relationship with his consumer, because ultimately all insurance companies are selling same services. So how does he differentiate? You know, there are many brands in biscuit today. How does Britannia differentiates? They have to create a very close relationship and top of mind recall with the consumer when it comes to brands, something which are not so very unique, right? Hence, the proposition for every advertiser becomes very difficult for them to, survive in the sameness. And that's where the media vehicles bring in a lot of opportunities for these brands to build their own stories in the different environments. For example, like you mentioned, now you have, his advisors are in regional languages. And today, why news is mail is the important audience for him. There are a lot of content which is today created in various channels, even in entertainment, news, etc. That you are able to connect that consumer, especially male audiences, and you build that relationship through storytelling with them. And that content has to be crafted very carefully. Either it becomes a very impact. You show movie, in that you create, lately Pushpa had almost 30 brands within the movie being shown. In some or the other, creating that one single relationship, because the amount of people viewed that movie was huge, in crores, right? And when the mass audience watches something, it creates a message. It creates that inside it becomes a brand in a way, right? So hence, addressing your audiences through large medium, large mass mediums, etc. builds the imagery of that brand. It differentiates that brand from other same brands which are not shouting so much. But at the same time, they have to pick that particular message. What differentiates them? So here he connected a beautiful connection with his advisor, through his advisor, his customer. So I think that is what we need to understand. Once we understand their brief, we have so many stories going around like that in our storytelling. We have 1 lakh hours of content being created. And these many stories can be built in so many ways, not just one way.
Now, when you look at these kind of examples and therefore start measuring ROI on it, do you see the regional part in a different lens from a metrics perspective and national from a different perspective, and I look at it from a third level perspective, because there's a dissemination of information going on, that local language, adapted to that local culture, etc. Or you take it all into one slide and say, hey, here is my overall metric line. Which one performs better? Does care as well as the overall metric gets delivered for that advertiser?
Yeah, so that means all three actually. So obviously the overall should also perform, but sometimes the overall may not, and this particular area may. like if you're doing an initiative. So that of course needs a regional lens, KPI for that market. And hyper-localization is also possible, which gets again measured. For example, a city level in Sun TV OTT, Sun Next. Even though television we say Tamil can be done separately versus HSM, you can go even deeper. Madurai versus Coimbatore, or we have certain areas in AP which are very different culturally. The coastal areas, it has always been a target market for many brands. So now we have that possibility. So measurement can go to all three layers. So we look at overall, we look at regional, we look at hyperlocal, and the most common metric these days everyone follows is brand search queries, which can be, we work with Google and we can make out which region is putting it up and website traffic and stuff like that. So if you can connect the dots in some way, and of course we said calls, right? So if there's a WhatsApp call to action campaign, then you get those kind of nuances. But measurement is extremely important in the whole scheme of things to understand if this regional activity did help us or not.
As we look at the future now, and given the kind of fragmentation from a connected TV to a mobile device to a linear television screen, and of course big screen on the theatres, screen talkies, etc., and billboards across retail media, out of home, where do you see this, and this is for everybody to come back on, what your perspective is and how this entire transformation is actually happening? Are we going more and more local in nature because retail media is to that particular area, that particular spot of audiences, vis-a-vis national media climbing up all the way to the entire country, if it's a war or if it's a sports that has travels across. Where do you see this entire thing moving across? Is advertising more getting skewed towards your regional segment, storytelling from content perspective getting more skewed to that local level? Or are we seeing that all these learnings from the local level is getting shifted to the national level so that we draw a set of audiences? And therefore, our advertisers and broadcasters as well as media strategists adapting to these kind of changes. Vishik, you want to start with that?
So my view is content is everything. And within content, because of so much of content available, authentic and storytelling approach is going to do the roast. How do we do it with reducing time frame of the story which is available to us, because the stories seem to be getting shorter and shorter and shorter, which makes storytelling a challenge. How do we navigate this along with not just us as brands, not just broadcasters, but our agency partners and everybody? How do we do that? That's a challenge in front of us, and that's what we have to navigate. But I'm sure it's a problem that can be solved. And I'm sure we see great amount of work coming out of it.
See, technology has ensured hyper-personalization today, right? But from hyper-personalization to a mass sentiment, you have opportunities which were not available earlier for brands, for marketeers. For a startup D2C brand or even a B2B brand, you precisely target your audience to those hyper-personalization. At the same time, the brand which wants to become big has an opportunity to mass advertise either through sports or entertainment, or through TV channel, etc. So what has happened is that the media has evolved so much and technology has helped. Obviously it has fragmented all the messages, but or the content dissemination. But at the same time, it has given opportunity to every individual to consume what they want, but at the same time, create a national or a universal sentiment also through common messaging by mass mediums. So there are both opportunities available. Hence, content creation has become very difficult. How do I create content which is very personalized and at the same time I create content which is loved by everybody. And that has brought back us to our, working tables, to how to, draw these contents for every strata of the individual or to the society or to the culture. So that is where we are facing a lot of challenges. Because we disseminate our content through various platforms, we first think from a larger lens, then see how the same content can be personalized into smaller segments of content, which can then be given to people on various different screens or platforms, etc. So when I create a long form content, I'm also identifying how to create a reel out of that. How do I create a BTS which is behind the scene, which can go onto YouTube. I can put something which is not seen on my Z5. So this is how we have started thinking. It's an omni-channel strategy today. It is no more one single platform strategy. So I think that is how the media is going to go forward, and that is how the consumption of media is also going to be. But I think large screen will always rule whichever the device may be, whether it is connected or whether it is through today's traditional medium of DTH or cable. But I think large screen will always be the primary medium for communicating your message more forcefully.
Priya, how do you see this? You are adapting to the same language that Ashish is speaking?
So I don't think there's a one size fits all. Okay, so I don't think we can say that we're all going regional or we're all going national, because it really depends on the brand's objectives, right? So I think what we need to have is a proof of concept, right? So just taking an example of one of our brands, we have this brand called Britannia Treat Croissant, right? So we had done a very small social media activation. I won't tell you, it's a really tiny budget, where we just said that if we are looking for interns for our office, we just want one person to come and teach everybody in our office to pronounce the word croissant. And we'll give you 3 lakh rupees, right? It was just a social media activation. The response that we got was crazy, right? And it's like in crores. So what we thought was, this is like good. We just then started just doing some media application. We didn't have any plans of media application. We just had some media plans, some social media or whatever and all that. We just started going berserk. We just did national TV, we did some print, we did YouTube, OTT, all of that. So it really depends on what is the concept that you have. If you have a proof of it, we will back it. If we don't, maybe we'll have to figure out what is it that a brand really needs, and not necessarily because this is what we think, media branding should be.
Interesting. Creators are the consumers, and the consumers are the creators too. Okay, Sagar, where do you see this happening?
So I think from a regional TV channel perspective, being hyper local is no more a choice but has become a responsibility. Because now when we see over the period of time, regionalism has been growing rapidly. People have started to take more pride in their culture, tradition of which state they come from. Hence, let me give an example. In one of our regional channels, Shemar Marathivana, we have a non-fiction show called as Gajal Maurita. It's in the devotion category. For us, it's a larger responsibility that in the year, whatever festivals comes from whichever socio-cultural region, maybe Konkan, Marathwada, Vidarbha, everywhere, every festival has to be celebrated on the channel, and people of a state understand each other's socio-cultural regions. They understand that these festivals are celebrated in a certain way. But to show it in an authentic way, having shot in that particular area, develops a larger bond between a broadcaster and a consumer. That's where the brand building or the loyalty building happens with the consumer.
Interesting. So festival is a route to actually bring in customers and keep them loyal to you. Vanita?
Yeah, so the question being national versus regional, there's no versus, like I agree with what she was just saying, that it all is category specific, brand specific. Given if you're asking the overall picture on the industry level, given that FMCGs rule our advertising addicts and television rules also still, and given that we look at it from that lens, I think national would still rule. But the fact the way we all spoke, like national and regional together is obviously there in every plan today. and that will keep growing. But certainly it's not this cannot overpower national because of the sheer, the way that it's structured, number of people and the scale and the categories that rule the industry.
Dilip, is there anything you want to say as a last comments on?
Yeah, so we are in news and current affairs, news and information, and television, huge impact, whichever, whether it's a regional, local, or national, even global, still have a huge impact. So for us, the biggest and the most important task is to bring facts to wherever they are. It doesn't matter. I think time is running out, but I can take 1 minute of time. I went, before starting launching of this channel, I went to one of this company is one of the biggest advertisers. They do a lot of big campaign, and I met him and asked him, your entire product is based on, you provide some kind of a pure security solution. I would name the company because it's based on the purity of, say what? So, and we are talking about the purity of news and information, unadulterated, and we want to, so would you like to be the partner from day one? This idea, I went to, it depends. I said, on what? What will be the number? Once the numbers come, let me know. So, the numbers today is not only coming from television, it's coming from social media, it's coming from OTT platforms, you have more technology disruption. So I believe the personalization of news and information in genre like business, sports, entertainment, more to do with utility. So there's a lot of challenges that content creators need to think about. So I believe that personalization is one of the key areas that we will be working. Even on the television, we have 24/7. Your first question is that how do we decide? So in a peacetime, a normal day, we have no segmentation. So I think we will be continue to work towards building a loyalty with and viewers.
Thank you guys. The underlying message in this entire presentation is the fact that when you speak my language, my brain opens out to you, but when you're becoming culturally relevant to me, my heart opens out to you. So that's largely what translates. So thank you very much, team. Thank you.
Thank you so much, all of you. And after this, I would request everyone all of you to kindly share your thoughts on the panel.